Today I finished the 32 Ford chopped project. Interested? Stay tuned. Hello YouTubians and model car fanatics. This is the body that we ended up in the last episode. So this week we of course gonna finish the 32 Ford. First step, we're gonna finish the engine. For that, first we have to drill some holes for the ignition cable. We drilled already the holes in a distributor. Now it was the time to get on the other side of the line and drill the holes in the valve cover for the spark plugs. After that was all done, of course I was ready to glue all the parts that's left over in the parts box together. After that was all done, I decided to give the engine a wash. This time I wanted to do it with oil paints. Well, oil paints, they always need first to degrease, so to speak. So you want to have it first on a piece of carton or something like this for maybe, let me say, 15-20 minutes. And then the oil in the paint will go out and then you can use it. This way they will dry faster. Any white spirit will probably do the job. I use odorless thinner so it's not so smelly, and I thin the color to the right consistency. It's just a matter of, you know, I take brown and black. That's the colors that I think probably more than likely be in an engine. Now it's just a matter of give a fair amount of that wash to all the little recessed parts, all the edges, so you get like a more defined model. After I waited a couple minutes so it's like dry to the touch, you just use a cotton swab or something like this and dump it a little bit in odorless thinner, and it just can get rid of the excess that you don't want to have there. So you make it first dirty and then you clean it. And because you can't clean it good enough, it looks like an engine, I guess. Anyways, here's the finished product. The chassis was my next stop. First, I painted the tires, made like those white walls. I painted them because the decals did not comply the way I wanted them. So I just took a circle template and painted them in white, which worked out quite good. Before I could go to my magnetic jig and mount the wheels, I had to mount first the shock absorbers. Couple years ago, I built this magnetic jig. It's not more than a metal plate which I made a grid on, and those wooden parts that you see here have a magnet on the bottom, and that's why they hold, and they give me a 90-degree angle, so all four wheels not just touching the floor, but they also be in the right angle. I painted the running boards in black. I did it with a brush. I did not bother using some painter's tape and put out my airbrush. I just brushed them on, and worked out quite well, especially since Charlie Mack told me how to thin paint proper. Thanks Charlie on this point. The kit comes with a lot of crazy flames and all kind of sorts of decals. I did not care so much for those, but I wanted to have a nice little pinstripe on the lid of the trunk, so I used that decals, whatever, from the kit, and quite happy that turned out actually. The parts for the interior are quite manageable. There's not too many to it, but you know, I took my time and of course detail painted them a little bit, and for the gauges I flooded them with white and then made a red spot for the needles. So I took my time and painted them of course a little bit, but it's not too much detail to the interior. For the carpet I decided to take a 1mm thick felt. I bought them in the craft section from my hardware store. They have it in all kind of colors. So I decided, since the car is in red, I decided for a red carpet. So the good thing on felt is actually if you push it, it will keep to a certain extent the shape of whatever the floor pan is. So that's really good. The only thing that you might have to be careful a little bit, like you see here a couple spots, if you use the glue too wet, it will soak through, which is not too bad in my case, because anyway, on those spots will be the seat bench in one spot, and the other spots will be under the dashboard. So I didn't mind too much. Now it was just a matter of taking the handful parts and glue them together, and then I was pretty much done with the interior. You can see pretty good how I actually painted the gauges. First I flooded the whole thing in white. I did pretty much a whitewash, if you want to call it that way, and then the needle I just painted them in a red color. I found in my stationery shop a while ago this foil. Actually it's to cover like your little books or your notebooks or something like this for schools. They have it in all kind of color, so I didn't use that in a while. I used that foil this time again for my windows. So I thought, like, instead of painting the windows, I just used this red foil. But now to the part of the video that we all waited for. How does she actually look like? But that's all for this episode. The next episode's gonna be an appreciation build. Don't wanna spoil too much to that. So you all have a nice weekend. Stay tuned. Have fun. Bye all.